Good afternoon, welcome back to our homestead. Today we've got a cool new project for you. That is a grape and kiwi arbor / trellis for our garden area, and we're going to show you how to build it. Let's go. So right behind us is where we are going to place our trellis. We are going to measure out on the ground and mark it off using the 3-4-5 method to keep our corners square. If you're unfamiliar with that method, we actually did that on a previous video. It's the video where we built our garden fencing. It's a great way to get your corners perfectly square, especially when setting fence posts. All right, let's get this marked out. Now at each one of these points, we have the center point of our post. Now that we have our center points for our posts marked out, it's time to use this tractor auger to dig those holes. Now for this project, you can use either square or round posts, and we are actually going to use both in this project, and here's why. The reason why is we try to reuse everything on our homestead. We try to be frugal and sustainable. We have some square posts and we have some round posts, but for this project, we don't have enough of either for the entire project. So we're going to use both. For this design, we're going to use 10-foot posts because we want 8 feet of the post sticking out of the ground. So the lumber you're going to need for this project are your 4 posts, whether they are 4x4s or 4-inch rounds, 5-inch rounds, 6-inch rounds, it doesn't matter. You want 4 of them that are 10 feet tall. Additionally, we're going to need 2 treated 2x4s, 8 feet long, and 4 treated 2x8s, also 8 feet long. So the first cut we are going to make is going to be 5 inches down on the end of our posts. What that's going to do for us is give us the area to notch in where our 2x8 is going to sit right on the top. We're going to set our blade depth on our circular saw for 1.5 inches to receive the thickness of our 2x8. Next, we're going to use a hammer and chisel and notch out the end. Our next step is to work on the decorative portion of our 2x8s. We're going to do that by measuring up 5 inches from one corner, 5 inches from the other corner, like that. Then we're going to take a pencil and we're going to connect the dots. If you don't have a protractor, this is a perfect way to do it. We're going to measure on the side here, get that pencil set, put our string point at the corner, and draw our arc. Now we can cut this out with our jigsaw. Now that we have our post completed and notched out, and we have our top stringer cut on the end, the decorative radius, we're going to measure 3¼ inches in from each side on the bottom of the stringer. That's going to give us our center point to place our posts. We are going to come in 1¾ inches, which is the center of a 3.5-inch post, and line those two up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to drill 2 holes for these 3-inch lag screws. We are going to use a 3/16-inch drill bit and pre-drill our holes for our lag screws along this line right here that we've lined up with our post. We are then going to use a 7/8-inch Forstner bit to countersink that head, the lag screw head, down into the wood for a nice look. 2.5 to 3 inches is perfect between your lag screws. I misspoke slightly earlier. You actually need 4 2x4s that are 8 foot long for this project. You're also going to need about 20 lag screws to complete the project. And as always, I will have a full list of materials that I've used on this project in the description below. Now I like to pre-assemble certain pieces before I go out and set the posts in the concrete. That gives me a little bit more stability and a little bit more squareness on those posts that I'm putting in the ground. I'll undo them when I'm setting the posts and then just lightly connect them back together to keep things stable. Now that we have all of our posts done, we are going to set them in our holes. Now you may need to do some adjustments in the bottom of the holes by adding some dirt or taking some away. We're on a slight slope here, so the posts in the front are going to need to come up a little bit to keep it level with the post in the back. So it's going to be much easier for us to attach these top stringers or beams so that we can maintain a flat and level structure when we concrete or pour the concrete in our holes. So that's going to give us a brace at the top in case it moves in this direction. We're going to do this cross bracing at the bottom in case it moves in the other direction. Now that we've done this, it's time to use this bad boy over here. Okay, now that we have our basic structure up, it's time to cut a few more of the cross supports and the supports for the cattle panel, which goes up the sides and along the top. Additionally, we are going to show you how to cut the cool brackets that we've designed for it. So on our 2 remaining 2x8s, we are going to measure up 51 inches and make a cut. The remaining portions we're going to divide equally into 4. That gives us 1'11" for each one. On this one, we've sketched our bracket. We're going to use that as a template for the rest of them. So here we go. We're going to start 2¼ inches in from this edge and draw a 45-degree angle up to this side of the board. That's going to give us 3 inches to start our bracket piece right here. From there, we're going to go 45 degrees all the way through the board this way. That's going to give you 7 inches on this side. And then we're going to draw 45 degrees back down this way, another 3 inches. That is your top piece right here. This rectangle, 3x3 by 7x7. From there, we're going to come all the way over to this edge. We are going to start 1 3/4 inches in from this edge and draw a 45-degree angle up until it comes to this side of the board. That's going to give us 2½ inches right here. From there, 45 degrees this way, 3½ inches. And then at the bottom, 45 degrees this way, 1.5 inches. That's going to give you this open-ended rectangle here to start our arcs from. So our arcs are free-handed. They're not any specific diameter. We free-handed them, and that works just fine. And I'll give you the dimensions on this. This arc is about 3¼ inches up to the center point right here, and then the next arc, 6¼ inches. So we're going to connect the 3½ inch point with the other portion of the top of the bracket here, where that other 3 inches came to this point right here, swing an arc, then come down to our 1½ inch off this side, and all the way over to our corner right here where we started. We're going to swing that arc and hit that 3¼ inches on this top arc, hit that 6¼ inches. That's going to give us our decorative bracket. Now make sure that the angle of this top portion and the angle at the bottom are the exact same, all 45s. Now, of course, once we've got our first bracket cut out, use it as a template for all the others. Once we have our brackets all cut out, we're going to come to this bottom portion of the bracket and we're going to pre-drill for our lag screw. That's going to go straight into our post. Re-drill for the leg, and we're going to countersink it with that Forstner bit. Now it's time for a little table saw work. These are the cross braces that hold in the cattle panels on the side. What we need to do is notch these out, as well as the 2x8s at the top. We'll notch them the same way, but we're going to notch them out 1.25 inches by 3/8 inch deep. 3/8 inch is the depth of both pieces of wire on that cattle panel. So those are 3/8 inch, and we're going to sink them in 1.5 inches just to be safe, so it holds it on there. We're going to cut out this portion right here 1.5 inches by 3/8. Now essentially we have a rabbet cut on each of our pieces. Do these to the 2x8s also to receive that cattle panel. On the ends here, we're going to pre-drill and countersink again with our drill and our Forstner bit to receive those lag bolts. So on the end of the 2x4, we're going to measure in 1 1/8 inches. Score a line, that's where we're going to put our lag bolt. And our lag bolt on these 2x4s, we're only going to get one down here because this top portion is where the cattle panel comes into. So on the 2x8s, you're going to have 2 lag bolts. So each cattle panel that you get is usually 50 inches tall by 16 feet wide. And the first section we want for the top is going to be an 8-foot section, so let's cut that off. Best tool for the job is an angle grinder. All right, we've got the rest of our parts and pieces cut out and ready to go. Now let's show you how to assemble them. So first things first, we need our side support pieces and our top cross brace that hold our cattle panel trellis on the top. We are going to center that cross brace, and it is going to be placed 2.5 inches down off of our end beams here. That is going to give the panel the ability to sit inside of this whole top structure and not be seen from the top. Likewise, these support braces are going to come 2.5 inches down, one on each end. They're only 1 foot long, just to give some support to that top piece of cattle panel. Now that that's done, it's time to get our top cattle panel piece into place. Now we're going to secure those cattle panel pieces with some fencing staples. Next thing is to add our decorative brackets. We are going to take that flat 3.5 inch portion of it on the back here, opposite of where we drilled or pre-drilled for our lag screw, right here. We're going to set it right on our post and make sure that this top square portion, that's just for screwing. That hides behind your top beam here. That's what it's for. All right, we're just going to clamp it in place, making sure we stay flat on this right here. And we're going to secure that with 2 deck screws. Here's the last step in the process, is attaching the remaining cattle panel pieces to the sides, bolting them to the outside columns with the cross brace here that I rabbeted out. It's just going to slip over the bottom portion of the wire here, and we're going to bolt it. Well, there you go. There's the finished project. We hope you like it. Now it's time to plant this cool grape that we got from Malta, from a buddy of ours. We have a great method on how to train a first-year grapevine up to a trellis, so make sure you check out that video. Now I want you to go check out this video right here, which shows you how we build our cool garden shed with an amazing Japanese Soshugiban finish on the outside. Have a great day. We love you, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.